Historical development of Philippine educational system. Education during the Spanish regime. During the Spanish colonial period of Philippines, 1565 to 1898, most of the archipelago underwent a deep cultural, religious transformation from various native Asian cultures and traditions with Islamic or animist religious practices to a unique hybrid of Southeast Asia and Western culture, including the Catholic faith. Spanish education played a major role in that transformation. The oldest universities, colleges, vocational schools, and the first modern public educational system in Asia were created during the colonial period. Education was still in the early stage of development during the Spanish period. Even the late 19th century, the Spanish language was still unknown to a great majority. They were literate in their own native dialects. The Spanish aristocracy tried to distinguish themselves from the Indios with the use of language and level education. The early period. During the early years of Spanish colonization, education was the mostly religion-oriented and controlled by the Roman Catholic Church. Spanish friars and missionaries educated the natives through religion with the aim of converting indigenous populations to the Catholic faith. The system of writing during the Spanish regime was Latin alphabet alboladora. The Augustinians opened a school immediately upon arriving in Cebu in 1565. The Franciscans arrived in 1577 and they too immediately taught the people how to read and write, besides imparting to them important industrial and agricultural techniques. The Jesuits who arrived in 1581 also concentrated on teaching the young. When the Dominicans arrived in 1587, they did the same thing Jesuits priests. The friars were effective in evangelizing the Catholic religion to the Filipinos. One major failure of the educational system of the religious congregations was the withholding of the Filipinos to learn other bodies of knowledge. Education during the Spanish regime was privileged only to Spanish students. Several educated Filipinos, referred to as ilustrados, began movements directed towards change in the system of government in the Philippines. The Chinese language version of the Doctrina Christiana, Christian Doctrine, was the first book printed in the Philippines in about 1590 to 1592. Tomas Pinpin. In 1610, Tomas Pinpin, a Filipino printer, writer, and publisher who is sometimes referred as the Patriarch of Filipino Printing, wrote his famous librong pag-aaralan ng mga Tagalog ng wikang Kastila that was meant to help Filipinos learn the Spanish language. The prologue read, "Let us therefore study, my countrymen, for although the art of learning is somewhat difficult, yet if we are persevering, we shall soon improve our knowledge. Other Tagalogs like us did not take a year to learn the Spanish language when using my book. This good result has given me satisfaction and encouraged me to print my work, so that all may derive some profit from it." Tertiary schools. Colegio de Santa Potenciana was the first school and college from girls that opened in the Philippines in 1589. It was followed by another school for women, Colegio de Santa Isabel, that opened in 1632. Other schools and colleges for girls were Santa Catalina, Santa Rosa, La Concordia, and etc. Several religious congregations also established schools for orphan girls who could not educate themselves. In 1590, the Universidad de San Ignacio was founded in Manila by the Jesuits, initially as the Colegio Seminario de San Ignacio. The Universidad de San Carlos was founded in Cebu by the Jesuits on August 1, 1595, initially named as the Colegio De San Ildefonso. It closed down in 1769 as a result of the expulsion of the Jesuits from the Philippines and did not open again until 1783. On April 28, 1611, the Universidad de Santo Tomas was founded in Manila, initially named as the Colegio de Nuestra Señora del Santísimo Rosario and later renamed as Colegio de Santo Tomas. In 1611, Fray Miguel de Benavides, the third Archbishop of Manila, established the Colegio de Nuestra Señora del Santísimo Rosario, later renamed Universidad de Santo Tomas, in 1645 by Pope Innocent X, Universidad de Santo Tomas. The girls were also given special education. Schools were of two kinds: Colegio, a regular schools for girls; Beaterio, a combined school and nunnery. The first college of girls in the Philippines was the College of Santa Potenciana, 1594. After the school ceased its operation, the students transferred to College of Santa Isabel, now the oldest existing college for the girls in the country. The institution was originally built to care for orphaned Spanish girls. Eventually, it became an exclusive school for the daughters of affluent Spaniards. Modern public system of education. Modern public school education was introduced in Spanish only in 1857. Free access to modern public education by all Filipinos was made possible through the enactment of the Education Decree of December 20, 1863 by Queen Isabella II. The Education Decree of 1863 provided by the establishment of at least 2 free primary schools, one for boys and another for girls, in each town under the responsibility of the municipal government. It also commended the creation of a free public normal schools to train men as teachers, supervised by the Jesuits. Educational Decree 1863. The first educational system for students in the country was established by virtue of the Education Decree of 1863. The decree required the government to provide schools institution for boys and girls in every town. Spanish schools started accepting Filipino students. The normal school was also established. The friars controlled the educational system during the Spanish. The missionaries took charge in teaching, controlling, and maintaining the rules and regulations imposed to the students. The schools before were exclusive for the Spaniards. Thank you.